All right, so for the midterm drawing here, everyone's doing a similar project and it's from observation. So you'll have to set up your own still life objects on a table in front of you, somewhere where you can see them really clearly. And I would recommend setting up a light on one side of them. So just to make it more interesting, you might be able to cast some shadows that would be fun to play with behind the objects. Also, if you set up some sort of pattern background behind it, that could also make it more interesting. Or if you just set your objects up in front of a part of the room or a wall that has something going on, has something to look at. But yeah, but overall, you just want to make sure you like what you're looking at as far as it being interesting for you. And then you want to find a composition that you like. Like, how are you going to set your objects up on your paper? Do you want them to fill the space of the paper, zoom in more on them, or do you want to have a bigger scene depicted where you zoom out and have a whole bunch of objects in the surrounding space? The big thing is just considering every part of your paper. So even if you're working on a part of the paper or a part of the drawing that's behind an object, which is sort of just part of the background, you want to at least consider how you're toning it. Do you want it to be light or dark? Do you see light falling on it, or do you see it more in shadow? How are you applying the charcoal on the paper? The idea for the midterm drawing is to bring in all these things that we've been doing, ways of using lines, tones, light and shadow, shape, pattern, and even the perspective stuff. If you're looking at some sort of boxy thing or the corner of a table, the perspective things can come into play when you're trying to figure out the angles of things or how something goes back in space. Again, if you send me what you're working on in the first couple days of this week that we're doing the midterms, I could give you suggestions and talk about things that you might want to work on more, or things that could be corrected. So I recommend toning the paper first, because then if I have that neutral background to work on, I can draw dark tones on top of the gray tone that I have on the paper already, and then I can erase out light tones. So right away I have to deal with the whole paper because I've already toned it. Everything I have to decide whether I want to keep it gray, change the tone, make it darker, make it lighter, and it also just gives me a surface to work on. And I would recommend just drawing rough outlines of your objects first. You want to just get a layout that you like on your paper. And I never get the placement and the size of the objects exactly right the first round. I have to move my lines around as I draw. So I'm finding where the objects need to go as I draw. And with the soft willow charcoal, you can wipe out your lines. It's not hard to wipe out what you've done and then just redraw. Sometimes it takes, if you're working on getting a light area in the drawing with the eraser, it takes a bit of scrubbing to try to get back to the white paper. You can use the kneaded eraser or the white plastic eraser. If I need to really scrub the charcoal away, I'll take the corner of the white plastic eraser and like really scrub it